I would like to make use of a metaphor. A metaphor that possibly can help you understand yourself better. And I am actually pretty sure that you have heard a metaphor like this before. Maybe not in the same details, but something like what I'm about to tell you, I am pretty sure that you have heard before. But nevertheless, it is a very useful metaphor. But a little warning first. Don't hold on too firmly on the metaphor. All metaphors are meant to paint a picture that can help us gain insight into something that is difficult to intellectually understand. So don't make a belief system out of this metaphor. However, it is a very strong metaphor. And it goes like this. It is the computer metaphor, where we are comparing ourselves to a computer. And of course it helps if you know how a computer is built. But basically a computer is what we call hardware. There is a processor unit and some storage capacity. So in this metaphor we could say that the human body is the computer. The human body is the hardware. But you see a computer just standing there. It is lifeless. The hardware alone is useless. But if we are comparing the hardware from the computer to the human body, then the brain, the physical brain, will be the processor. But then again, just the hardware, useless. We need some software. And just like a computer has something very, very basic software that is burned, so to say, into the hardware. Just some very, very basic software that can make the computer work. In the same sense, in the same way, the human body has some very basic software built in. Very basic, just so that it can do the most basic tasks. Basically, in the human body, it has to do with survival. And that kind of software is burned, so to speak, into the human body. But if we are to have some usage, if we are to use the computer, we need some additional software. And that will be the software that are being loaded into the computer's hard drive. That is all the applications that are meant for different tasks. And again, if we compare that to the human being, then that software, that will be the conditioning. The software that are being programmed into the human being during upbringing, during education, during social interactions. But see, the funny thing is, you can have a computer with all that software on it, and still it is useless. Completely useless, because it is still lacking the essential. And that is that we have to turn on the power. We need the electricity. Without electricity, the computer is useless. So the electricity is what brings the computer to life, so to speak. So what is the electricity in you? What is it that brings you to life? Last year I lost a dear friend. She was only 44 years old when the body stopped working because of cancer. And the last time I saw her alive, the aliveness was apparent. The electricity was apparent. She kissed me on my cheek, and she said, "Thank you." She left a husband, my brother, and a daughter and a son. A son 20 years old, but a daughter only 5 years old. The next day, the body was dead. The aliveness was gone. The electricity was gone, and all that was left was the hardware. That which kissed me on my cheek, that which said, "Thank you," that was not the hardware. That was not the software either. That was the electricity. So what is the electricity in you? What is the electricity in you? What is it that brings you to life? That is not the software, that is not the hardware, that is not your brain. It is the consciousness that you are. That is the electricity. So when I watched the body laying there, it was very obvious to me that it was only hardware, and that the conditioning that I knew, the software, wasn't her either. She was the electricity. But the electricity has not died. The electricity had not died. It has just simply left the body, back to source. The same electricity as you are, the same consciousness, the same electricity consciousness that I am. It does not die when the body dies. It just simply returns to source. So you cannot die. Yes, at some time, the body will die, and with it, the ego narrative will die. And the ego narrative is the conditioning, the software. That will die together with the body. And it is a great fear of the ego narrative. But that is not who you are in essence. You are the electricity. You are the consciousness. The force that animates everything. Now rest in that knowing. Rest in that peace. Rest as that. Thank you for listening.